This is Mark Kausler, animator, doing commentary on the Oswald the Lucky Rabbit cartoon, Oh Teacher, which was the third one of them made in 1927. Originally, this was, I think, the fourth or fifth scene in the cartoon, but in this version, it's been moved up to number 1. This little scene was animated by Hugh Harman. Note that it's the earliest version of Oswald. He's a little bit plumper and a little bit more rabbit-like. Now look at this. This is one of the few scenes where Oswald actually has whiskers. And most of the scenes he is not burdened with side locks like that. But see here, he has no whiskers at all. Now this is an interesting sequence because in the original, see the pants on the line there? The girlfriend comes out of the house and notices she doesn't have her pants on and then goes back in. Now you'll see coming up, now watch this, he's embarrassed. Oh, before, there was a little jump in the Oswald action, and that's where the action of the girlfriend originally was. This stuff with the mother pig and the baby pig was originally the opening stuff in the cartoon. And again, this is Ham Hamilton's animation, just now below. They did that many times later on in the Mickeys, and also in some of the Alice comedies, I think, used that same thing with the mother blowing the little kid's nose. Now, she puts him up on a mail hook. Everybody knew what that was back in the 20s. I don't think they have those now, but in the old railroad days, they would put a sack of mail up on a hook, and the mail train would just take the mail in passing as they went by. Now, originally, that little cat had blackface there after he's been hit in the face by the exhaust, but for some reason, they cut it out on this version. In 1931, Walter Lantz reissued several of the silent Disney Oswalds with added soundtracks, and in the process of doing that, reshuffled the order of some of the scenes and recut them. Unfortunately, the original silent versions were not preserved, and the recuttings are the only versions we have today. Now, this is Friz Freling's animation. Friz was just getting started in his career at this point. This is also Hugh's animation, where he flops into the stream. All this stuff was longer in the original silent version. There were a whole lot more scenes, but unfortunately they're missing today. Now, all this stuff is Friz Freling's. Again, very much as a silent kind of gag where the lettering forms a character. In this case, the lettering becomes a horse, and he's off to the rescue of his girlfriend who's flopped in the stream. So he rescues her here, but instead, the rival cat steps over him and grabs the girl. And of course, the girlfriend gives the cat credit for rescuing her, much to Oswald's disgust, as you'll see. Now, all this sequence here was animated by Friz as well. It's interesting, like Friz Freleng used to concentrate so hard to get his animation right that Hugh and Rudy would throw pieces of paper under his chair until there was a huge mound of paper, and then they would throw a match on and light a fire under him, and he didn't even notice that the fire was lit till the flames started coming around him, and he yelled, "Help, help!" Here's a gag where Oswald's head gets knocked off, and that was a gag that was only used in these early films. Later on, Walt had a more integral attitude towards the body in animation. He didn't do gags like that anymore, where the character's head would come off. He thought that cut into the believability of the character. All that stuff with the bell and everything, that was Hugh Harman's animation. These are Hugh's scenes too, where the little cat comes in with the girlfriend. And of course, the ubiquitous outhouse gag, which they used a lot in the early Mickeys. Now here in the recess, we see Oswald waiting with a brick in his hand for the rival cat to come out. It's kind of gangsterish, hoodlum stuff. Oh, this scene of Oswald with his foot, kissing his foot, was animated by Friz. It's very similar to the scene Friz animated in Trolley Troubles, which you will see elsewhere on this set. Now, this is all Ham Hamilton stuff. Note how crude the drawing is here of the rival and everything, but there's some good acting in it, like where the rival slaps Oswald on the back and Oswald's really mad and talks to the camera, and there's Oswald's very embarrassed. Notice the time Ham takes to see Oswald's eyes moving back and forth, so you really get the idea that he's trying to hide that brick. And he keeps switching hands. Every time he switches hands, the cat gets madder and madder. Now he's winding up to hit him. All this is Ham stuff. This is a very long scene. And then Oswald makes believe like he's going to exercise with it, That's why he had it with him all along. The cat throws it up on the roof. Now, oddly enough, Hugh just did this little scene, and then it's back to Ham Hamilton again, where the cat gets hit in the head and falls to the ground. Hugh was incredibly appreciative of Ham's abilities, because usually an animator would want a scene like this for himself, the head animator, but instead he gave all this business to Ham, making the little muscle and everything. Very good characterization stuff.